Hey everyone, welcome to episode 12 of the New Slang Podcast. I'm Thomas Mooney, the editor of New Slang here in Lubbock. And this week's podcast episode, we get back to normal interview stuff. So we have Paul Cauthen on this week. He's a Texas singer-songwriter who a lot of you guys probably know who Paul is, but a lot of you probably don't just because you're not familiar with the name Paul Cauthen. He's the former co-frontman of this incredible band that was making huge strides these last few years called Sons of Fathers. So in this interview, we talk about Sons of Fathers, the highs and lows of that band. We talk about a lot of songwriting and where Paul is now as a songwriter, where he's pushing, what directions, and he has this new record that he has been recording, and it's going to be coming out in the late summer, and it's just it's very interesting to see where Paul has gone from that very last Sons of Fathers album to now. You can see that obviously there's hints of the same stuff in there, but it's very interesting to see where he's been driven and where he's pushed his talent into or towards what sounds. And he recorded some of that record in Muscle Shoals, and he recorded some in California and Dallas, and not in Dallas. I don't think Dallas. In Austin. You'll hear it all in the interview, I promise. But before we get into the interview, there's a few things I should probably go over. One, Dalton Domino, he has this new day festival called Dust Bowl, and it's going to be, I guess it's going to be at the Blue Light on October 12th. That's obviously in the fall. You have a little time. He's not announced any kind of lineup yet. The only one I can really confirm for you is that, yeah, you guessed it, Dalton Domino will be playing that music festival. He's shown me some of the confirmations. The names are going to blow your mind in that proverbial way. Obviously, he can't really announce anything just yet until he gets everything confirmed down the line. But one thing that we are doing is that, he called me the other day saying that there's, I guess, 3 opening spots for this music festival, and that we're just kind of bouncing ideas off of how we can fill those 3 spots. So we decided that he would take entries, like just any band who wanted to play could submit by email some songs and just that vital information about the band, their Facebook, their Twitter, email, phone number, all that kind of good stuff. And that we would take those bands, see who's all, I guess like take the top 16 of those that we felt could play, and then we would put them in a some kind of little tournament, a bracket, a Sweet 16, and have fans vote on them. And so that's what we're going to do on New Slang. So if you're in a band, we'll be taking submissions until June 30th. You can email all of your songs and information to dustbowlbk@gmail.com. Again, that's dustbowlbk@gmail.com. You have until June 30th. So you have, just a few weeks until the deadline. For more information, just look up Dalton Domino's Facebook or Twitter, or look on New Slang. All the information will be there. And, so that's going to be coming up, like I said, in October. Before we get on to this conversation with Paul, this episode of the New Slang Podcast is brought to you by the Blue Light, which, they're essentially the best place to play and hear music in town. This Wednesday, which is going to be tonight, if you're listening to it right when it comes out, it's going to be Rody Morrow and Friends. Rody is the lead singer of the Hog Mollies, which is, if you look at these last 15 years or so, Rody is just up there with that pioneering class of Texas singer-songwriter here in Lubbock. Thursday is going to be Ben Nichols and Oliver Peck. Ben Nichols, you're probably familiar with his work in Lucero as the lead singer. He'll be playing here on Thursday. Those tickets right there will probably be going pretty fast, so you do have a chance to buy pre-sale tickets, which you can go and find those tickets at thebluelightlive.com. Scroll on the side and find the little buy tickets underneath Ben Nichols' name. From there, obviously, you just click links and you're done. Friday is going to be Midnight River Choir, and Saturday is going to be Wade Parks. He's another Lubbock pioneering voice. First time I heard Wade, I believe, was reading Chris Oglesby's Lubbock music book, and he kind of came up at around the same time here in Lubbock as Pat Green. Obviously, he didn't make it as big. Wade stayed here in Lubbock and became a Spanish high school teacher, but his songwriting is phenomenal. If you get a chance, go and see him. If you're, living across the state, go find Wade's record. It's called Tillers. And then Sunday is going to be Courtney Patton and Caitlin Butts. On Sundays at Blue Light, it's free. It's going to be on the patio. It's going to be real nice outside. Fair weather, good music, cheap beer, all that kind of good stuff. So anyways, we'll go ahead and get on to this interview with Paul Cauthen. Thanks.
All right.
I really don't do intros or anything, so
Let's get after it.
yeah. Well, you have this new record coming out. You saying late summer?
Yeah, we're thinking hopefully before October,
Mm-hmm.
So September, October is what we're shooting for. I just got a new team together. Been, ever since Sons of Fathers, it's been a 2.5-year build. New management, new booking, new PR, new record label. It's just a whole different ball of wax now. So it was good to be put right back on your ass, in order to write some more tunes and get hungry again. So it was all good, but I'm telling you, there were some moments there where I was pulling my hair out like a madman.
Well, that's what I was going to ask is like if you, because it felt like it just came out of nowhere, and I'm assuming, even if you guys had planned it out as far as like, hey, we're going to break up after this, I'm assuming even if everything had gone to plan, it would have still been very difficult to not necessarily rebrand yourself, but like as a solo artist, but as
yourself,
yeah,
to find yourself. The way that I've made a living in the music business was singing with another guy, and we wrote great songs, we sang the hell out of them, but now I'm 30 years old and it's the first time that it's my voice, and here it is. Let's put it out on the line. You know what I mean? So it's been it's a lot different. There for a while it was different. That first show, my first show back was at Lukenbach. And I went back up there and I had a band around me. It was just me. And, man, it was just different, But I love it, And I can really actually focus in on my voice,
Yeah.
So.
Did you, all these new songs, are like, do any of them have traces from Sons of Fathers days? Or did you just kind of like start from scratch?
There's one that's going to be put on it called My Friends. It's actually a co-write with Hayes Carl. And Dave and I started that song. And I showed it to Hayes. And Dave and I never had finished it after the band had broken up. And I showed it to Hayes. And Hayes was like, fuck, man, let's put this on there, And I was like, all right, well, let's finish writing it. So me and Hayes got together and finished the song, but David still gets a co-write on it because we wrote the whole melody and everything to the beginning that kind of caught the ear of Hayes. So, that's the only thing that's kind of touching base with Sons of Fathers. I sing some songs live still, for sure, the ones that we sang. I love to sing Roots and Vine, and I love to sing Tumbleweed, and I sing Big Diamond Waltz every once in a while, and I'll sing Wind Turbines. You know?
Yeah.
But, there's some songs that just are left for sons of fathers, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. This new record, you sent it over to me, and like I text you back, I said, it's kind of like this mix of like some Roy Orbison and some Marty Robbins and some like.
Dude,
even
that was
like,
my favorite text back out of anybody because, we're trying to. I really love Roy Orbison and Elvis Presley, and I grew up just loving it, and that's how I kind of learned how to sing. It was really big, boisterous, vibrato kind of thing, and I finally. I've kind of harnessed a little bit of that, and I'm thankful for it because, being raised in the Church of Christ, you don't have any microphones or anything. You're just kind of singing real loud. And I believe that those, it's crazy. Orbison sang real quiet, but just had a huge voice.
Yeah.
They made his mic real hot. I mean, he sang quiet and his band was quiet, but Elvis, opposite. So it's kind of cool to take from both, and try to know that your low-key moments in music or your real dynamic moments, think about Orbison, and then when you're trying to bring it, think about Elvis,
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that in the studio. The guys were telling me, man, get more in that Elvis zone or kind of do a little thing here, so I was thinking about it,
Yeah.
So.
Even when we were sitting out there and I don't know what song it was, but Brandon was like, man, that has some, even some like throwback, like Conway vibes,
Yeah.
And there are moments on this new record that feel very much like you could be like in a Conway suit.
Dude.
And just like with a microphone, not like
as long as Dolly Parton's next to me, I'd be just fine by that. Dude, it's crazy, man, thinking about Conway Twitty. He was a big influence in my life because when he passed away, I was going to my family reunion in Augusta, Georgia, and my dad threw that tape on. He bought the best of Conway Twitty. He was bum, bum, bum.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, darling. It's been a long time. That thing. And I fell in love with that, not nasally, but so commercial for the time. You know what I mean? Like he was equivalent to a Tim McGraw, but a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
To me, you know what I mean? But it was that mainstream. He had more hits than anybody in Nashville.
Yeah.
It was just cool. Thank you.
And obviously a big hit with the ladies.
Oh, yeah, man.
I don't know,
Dolly said she never hooked up with him.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted the public to think that they were. You know? But that was the whole thing. Duos back in the day, man.
Yeah.
Like Porter Wagner and what was it? Loretta Lynn and Dolly Parton? Just wild.
Dude, I feel like what's up, man?
Hey, the keyboards and
yeah.
And
no, that's cool.
Oh.
It's good to see you, brother.
Thank you, Mr. Creamer. Thank you. Well, back on task is what my old 7th grade history teacher would say. Back on task, kids.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is I want more of those collab records like that. The duets. There's not really any like power couple duet in country anymore.
No, it's like freaking Brad Paisley and Carrie Underwood, you know, and it's like, no, it's not the duo. I think that, man, there needs to be. I mean, the coolest thing that I've heard that's kind of touching base with that is the Nikki Lane and Jonathan Tyler song "To Love Is to Fly," and that's just an Americana. Great song, man.
Yeah.
And they touched base with some of that.
There's that and like the Chris Stapleton and Morgan Stapleton.
Yeah,
kinda.
That's a beautiful thing, too, that's going on.
Yeah, but I just want like a full-on, like we're going to do a record now, and then like in 3 years we're going to do another. Just
any ladies out there, I would do that. If anybody wants to sing, you know, and write a record and you want to sing your ass off, because I'll try to sing my ass off, and we could do something like Dolly Parton and Conway Twitty.
Yeah. You cut this new record like in what, like 3 places?
3 places, man. Started in Dallas, Texas, with Bo Bedford and those guys over at Modern Electric, Jeff Sines' studio. He's a California cat that came down. It's just really a great gentleman. And he got us, we got set up there, and I brought about 35 demos, 35 voice memos of different songs. And we cut them down to about 15. And we recorded 4 tracks there in Dallas. Then we went out to, and then he was like, man, this next section of the music that we're about to record in your album is so gospel driven. Like, it's got this gospel background. The first bit was like saddles still driving our burners. Once you're gone, the ones that are really kind of trucking, we were like, okay, we're going to get these sons of bitches out of the way because they're hard, you know?
Yeah.
The burners, the tempo songs are the ones that, you know, you can really vibe on a slow song. You know what I mean? So you can have a minute to think, you know? I mean, it's just like, you got to be faster when it's going faster. You got to think on your toes quicker, you know, no matter what, when it's a quick tune. Well, we got those out of the way. And we're like, okay, now this is the guts of the album. And me and Bo, we went back to there in Dallas, and we chilled in the studio, and we were like, all right, we know it's going to be There Soon, My Gospel, Let It Burn, and these songs. And he's like, we got to do it in Muscle Shoals. I've got an in with Fame Studios and Rick Hall and that whole crew over there. And I was just like a kid in the candy store, man. When he told me that, I was like, what? We're going to record in Muscle Shoals?
Yeah.
I just watched the documentary. I was such a nerd at that moment about it. And when he told me that, I was just like, holy moly, calling everybody that I knew and telling them that I am about to record in Muscle Shoals at Fame Studios.
Yeah.
So we went up there, and we started the whole process with the full band with the song As Young As You'll Ever Be, because it was such a spiritual, such a song that me and my late buddy, who was the sound engineer in front of house for Cheatham Street Warehouse in San Marcos, we named Victor Hulk. I wrote it with him, and we wanted to start the whole process at Fame Studios with that, and just to get our minds right. And so we started with that one, and it was the only track on the whole album that was a one-take thing. And I believe that Victor was there, and his hands were there in that moment, and it was an overwhelming moment, very humbling spiritual experience in music, and to think about that, you know, the river that sings and all that stuff they talked about in Muscle Shoals. You became a believer after that track. So after that, we're like, okay, we're already in this vibe. Let's get My Gospel. And then we called a couple of background singers from Muscle Shoals. And these background singers sang on Aretha Franklin tracks.
Yeah.
Sang, I mean, they were 50-year-old women.
I was going to ask, like, who was that? I didn't know if that was up in Dallas or.
Dude,
like,
that was in Muscle Shoals, and all the background vocals were done in Muscle Shoals. And it just really tugged at the heartstrings, you know, what they were doing. You felt like you're in church. And when that was going down, and they started talking about, you know, when they're recording with, you know, when they recorded with Ray Charles, or when they recorded with this person, they were just saying all this stuff. And I was just like mind blown by it, you know. And I started doing My Gospel. When I was done, the engineer comes up to me and said, man, you really gave it your all on that tune, man. Good work. He's like, you know, you were singing into Etta James's microphone just then.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sure as hell glad you didn't tell me that before my take, because I'd have been totally looking into that thing and totally messed my mind up and been kind of stage fright probably.
Do you have to just when you're in a place like that where it's just history, do you just have to go and take like 5 minutes and just fan out,
cried.
and then after that you kind of have to?
Man, I cried my ass off. I don't cry much. I don't. And I was so overwhelmed when I walked in there, and with all the people. Spooner Oldham. He, I mean, you know, Tell Mama, that song, you know, Etta Jane or Aretha, I mean, he wrote that with her, you know, in this room. And I was finishing My Gospel with Nick Lee, my guitar player, and Bo Bedford, my producer. And I had already written most of the tune with Owen Temple, good Texas songwriter. And so it's a 4-way split on that song. See, I've got a lot of co-writes on this thing.
Yeah.
And being back there, man, I just had to take a moment and just be like, thank you, God. I am blessed to be able to do what I do. Thank you that I can have a comeback here, because I feel the Spirit in this situation. Whatever it is, call it God, call it the water spirit from the river, or whatever Rick Hall talks about, but there is something there. And anybody that you talk to that's recorded there will say the exact same thing. It's not just, it's a myth. It's like when you're there, you get the chills a lot. You get the hair raising up in the back of your neck a lot. And I can't explain that. But it happened in Arlen Studios as well, working in Willie Nelson's place when I was in Austin. It's just like you said, when you need to take a moment because of all the history that's happened in a certain place, you've got to just, you feel it, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Going with Bo. Did Bo produce this entire record?
Yes,
or did
he did. Bo Bedford, I called him. I met a good friend of mine, Jason Burt. He played bass for me in a gig out in Mansfield, Texas, and he kind of introduced me to the underground rock and roll scene of Deep Ellum in Dallas.
Yeah,
and there is a scene happening over there that is some of the dirtiest players I've ever heard in my life. It reminds me of some of the stories I heard from Austin in the 70s. It's kind of the vibe that's happening over there. On a Wednesday night, you go somewhere and you'll see a band called Rise and Shine.
Yeah.
Or somebody that just blows your mind. These guys are all studio musicians. They've all been sidemen like Jonathan Tyler and all these people. And it's it's totally, it's like inbred almost with people.
A couple years back, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years back, whenever Jordan and Brandon were playing with Jonathan, Rise and Shine.
Yeah.
Now, they'd come over here and, we'd go to the Castle's house, and you've been to the Castles.
Oh, yeah.
You just go over there and drink and talk about music and shit. And
It's the
they
best.
kind of gave me I guess over, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 times, they gave me the Spark Notes version of what Bo Bedford had been doing in Dallas, as far as all the bands like Larry G.
Dude, he is the most selfless human being. I call him the Grand Wizard Sensei, but not Grand Wizard as in racial Grand Wizard. We're talking music.
Yeah.
I was in Nashville, and they say you can't even say the word Grand Wizard because there's that's the home of all the bad things.
Yeah.
But this guy is the sensei. He's the master splinter. And he has been putting all of, he works at an ad agency during the day, his father's old business. And he works his ass off day in, day out. He has a son. And at night, he's like a hoot owl, man. Late night, he will get in that studio, and he just cooks it up. He has ties with Leon Bridges. And, he just really had a vision. He studies producers.
Yeah.
Like a race car driver would study Dale Earnhardt. He's studying T-Bone Burnett. He's studying what Dan Auerbach's doing, what Jack White's doing. He is a nerd on it. And because of that, his palate is 180 degrees, and it's just right there. It's whatever, and he can take an artist and find what their true, genuine attributes are that people want to hear and pull it out of them.
Yeah.
Just like we pull orange juice out of an orange. He just pulls it, and he totally took me to another level. I've worked with great producers. I've worked with Lloyd Maines.
Yeah.
And this guy has just got the talent, and he's got the heart for it. He's a selfless human being that he hasn't been paid a damn dollar to do any of these records yet. He's just got percentages in them because he has faith in these musicians that they're going to be worth something.
Yeah. Well, if you go and, look at what he's done, a lot of it is, it's the Jonathan Tyler, it's Rise and Shine. I guess he did that Room Sounds record.
Yeah, and then this Quaker City Nighthawks that just got picked up by a label. And, he's Wesley Geiger.
Yeah.
Holy moly. He's like our generation Neil Young, man. And he is an artist that has kind of slipped through the cracks for a little bit. And it's because, I don't know why it is, but this guy, he's the writer of all writers in the Dallas area. My good buddy Noah Jackson, who I wrote some of these tracks with, he is a insane writer out of Dallas, and he just moved to Austin, so he's going to be down there rubbing elbows with whoever he can to try to make something happen. But there's just a lot of great talent in Texas, man.
Yeah.
From sea to shining sea. It's just like everywhere I go, these people are coming out of the woodwork. I've been working in Nashville a lot too, and I'm in that East Nashville scene and working with a lot of cool people from there, and just blessed to be able to be on my feet. I had a little bit of money in the bank, and I am barely paying for gasoline, but man, it's been worth it. The things that I've accomplished, the things that I've done, things that I did with Sons of Fathers. People ask me, Ben, are you all right? Are you okay after Sons of Fathers? Everything okay? Dude, it just made me a more callous, stronger man.
Yeah.
I just got more work under my belt. Was all I had to do after that. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, here we go again.
Yeah.
I don't know anything else.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I was going to ask you too about Bo is, so much of what he's done has been guys in the, what you would call, I guess like their roots being more in rock and roll, but your
Yeah.
roots being a little bit more in country. It was interesting to, whenever I first saw the first posts about you're going to be working with him, I was one of those like, well, I wonder what's going to happen
Yeah,
here.
what we're going to cook.
And I don't know, like what you guys did on this record is, it makes sense of what, as far as this being this throwback to rock and roll, but not in the same sense as like the Rolling Stones rock and roll.
Yeah.
More in that what we're talking about, like the
early
Elvis
rock and roll,
Roy Orbison kind of rock
Buddy
and
Holly
roll.
kind of rock and
Yeah,
roll. Yeah.
Like I guess like whenever you first decided that Bo was going to be the guy for you on this, was there any like any worries? It's like that it would maybe be something else that you didn't.
I knew. We went and hung out. Basically, I was about to do a record with Vance Powell and Third Man Records up in Nashville, Jack White's crew.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they pitched me a price, and it was just astronomical compared to what I had in budget.
Yeah.
And then I just sent Bo a cold email, and I said, "Man, this is what's going on. I don't think I can do this record up in Nashville. I'm going to be so far in debt that it's just not going to be worth it for me to put all this, yeah, I'll probably get some publicity. Yes, I might get signed to Third Man Records, like and be in a Margot Price situation,
Yeah.
or something like that. That'd be great. But he called me in 5 minutes after the email. He's like, dude, come up to the studio. Come hang out. So I went up to the studio there in Dallas. And first minute we saw each other, we just hugged, man. It was just like, hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me over, Showed me the studio. That's when I unlaid all these songs. And I knew when he was so passionate about which songs and which ones have a good flavor and which ones could work, the passion that he had, and I saw right there in that studio that first night, I knew then that this guy is just as passionate as I am, and it's, my songs.
Yeah.
And we caught each other at the right time. He needed me just as much as I needed him, and we both, we bitched each other out, we cussed each other up during this thing, but it all made this product, and we put in the work, man, and I've been working with him since September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's always great whenever you that relationship is built on friendship first, or at
Yeah.
least like mutual respect, where you can you don't have to like tiptoe around like hurting anyone's feelings, that kind of thing. Where
Exactly.
like Red, Red Shahan. And
Oh, yeah.
Red was saying whenever he was cutting that record, they're all so familiar with each other. They could just say, well, no, I think that fucking sucks. No, let's not do that. And it'd be so much easier than, tiptoeing around egos and whatnot. Just makes a simpler way of making records.
When you figure out that y'all both have the same vision, then all that ego shit just goes away. you forget about that. When somebody has a comment to make or somebody adds to the situation, it's always adding to the situation, whether it's constructive and you take it in a negative way is your decision, but the constructive criticism is what makes records better. And if there's no construction in that and nobody saying, hey, this sounds like shit, then honestly, you got a bunch of liars in a room that want to just get a record finished.
Yeah.
Because last time I checked, nothing just flows like butter in the studio. Sometimes it does. You set up mics, you have a certain tone you like, and you just roll with it. But 90% of the time, there's a lot of conversations to be had about what's being, recorded.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. How was it recording with Lloyd Maines though? Like what was like
Lloyd's approach? Lloyd's a yes man. If it sounds good, it is good. Lloyd doesn't want, Lloyd's so sold and solid on his.
You need a lighter?
Yeah. I don't think they'll let me smoke one here in the non-smoking area. I always do. But he's one of those guys that just, he gets a good tone and then he runs with it. Like all of our records with Sons of Fathers, I mean, if you listen to that first record, every kick drum is the same tone. But, dude, that's what made Sons of Fathers, and it just made – the canvas is painted correctly, and it's thorough, and it's cohesive with Lloyd. Just real quick, And, I mean, fuck, we recorded, 12 songs in 4 days, that first album. And that's what – we got more talked about on that record than we did anything else. And it was just because it was so pure, and, and he allowed it to be pure. He didn't want to overproduce or, make it something that it wasn't. Yeah. He just allowed it to be pure. And that's Lloyd. Lloyd, he gets it to a warm spot, then he doesn't touch it. He does not touch it. He lets it evolve. Me and Lloyd got head-to-head because I couldn't get a vocal take, and I got pissed, and I started cussing Lloyd, and Lloyd said, oh, you're going to act like Jerry Jeff Walker? Why don't you just walk outside and pout? And I went outside, I pouted, I came back inside, and I was like, all right, Lloyd, you asshole, let's go cut this thing again. He's like, that's more like it. Yeah. He's like the cool, he's like, oh, Paul, in the morning, when you come up here to the studio, we stop by that Taco Cabana and get some of those bean and cheese. Those are so good. That's Lloyd. So if you can't be comfortable with a man that loves some tacos, I don't know where you can be comfortable. Yeah. We would say Lloyd likes to take it to Tater Town. That's where he takes it, straight to Tater Town, boy. Yeah. And Tater Town sells.
Well, I mean, if you think about just Texas music of the last, you can go back to that first Terry Allen, not first Terry, but like Lubbock on Everything.
Yeah.
But, from that point
pure
on to now, has there been a more influential individual in Texas music other than Lloyd?
Oh, other than Lloyd, I think, man, what Gary Clark Jr. is doing. I really enjoyed the stuff he's doing out of Austin and his crew. It's that Arlen crew. And it's not like he's been an influence, but Leon Bridges is like blowing my mind. He's just a showman. Yeah. When you see him, whether you like the way he sings or the sound of his voice, just to watch him on stage is, it'll do something for anybody. Yeah. So, he hopped up on stage with me there at the Double Wide 2 weeks ago. And the crowd just erupted, and there's something to be said. The star in somebody, that star thing is still real. Yeah. And when it happens, and you're lucky if you're one of them, but you've worked your ass off to be that. But, man, Lloyd, Bo, all these guys are history book kind of guys, that I tell Bo, we were coming back from playing in Fort Worth, and we were riding in his car, and we were coming back to Dallas. We just totally ripped into each other about what we have to do to even tilt ourselves further and be more passionate and even work harder than what we are, never being satisfied. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that, as artists, we're called to do that, you know? And Bo is the guy that just really is next level when it comes to just pulling you to the level you need to be, or the level that you can do. You know what I mean? So all these guys I'm just lucky to work with, man. And I happen to fall into a record, and usually the good ones happen like that. You know, it wasn't pre-thought out. Muscle Shoals was not a twinkle in my eye when I started recording with Bo. Then we talked about it afterward, and we were like, dude, these songs call for Muscle Shoals. It's these songs that need Muscle Shoals. It's not us. It's not Bo. It's the songs. And that's why we chose everything. And then we were like, man, we got these other 4 tracks. And I was like, man, I've got a good friend out in California that I've been talking to. And 5 years ago, I was with Sons of Fathers, and we were out in California. We just played this Activision private party, you know, the whole video game thing.
Yeah.
He was like in an AstroTurf courtyard. Just crazy. Just like you'd think a video game place would be. Is exactly what it was. So we're playing there, and this buddy of mine comes up to me, and he's like, dude, let's go have a drink. I was like, all right. So me and this guy that I'd met named Gus Seifert, he has played bass and produced with the Black Keys, and he's on the road with Beck. He's his multi-instrumentalist for Beck Hansen and their band. And just an amazing, the most incredible Yoda-like engineer and mind I've ever met in music. So we go out to California, and I introduced Bo and this guy, and that is the coolest thing that I've done this whole time, because I just connected Dallas and the West Coast in the deep, deep, deep underground of badass music. You know what I mean? That stuff's going on. So we go out there, and I bring some tracks to him, and the first day we just go over there. I wanted to introduce them and show him the studio and stuff. He's got this whole studio in Silver Lake, and it's just a awesome, cool California vibe, you know. And we go out there, and we're like, man, you want to just record something for the hell of it? He had everything set up, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. So we recorded a track, and he like basically said, hey, guys, come down from upstairs, because we only had me and Bo. We didn't have drums. We didn't have anybody else. And so the drummer from the Killers comes down, and then another drummer from Jenny Lewis's band comes, and then the bass player from the Killers comes down, and Gus is playing like freaking Mellotron and doing all this weird stuff with percussion, and then plays drums as well, and then plays bass on a song. So we got all these badass touring California musicians that are just top notch.
Yeah.
So we get in there, and this organic juices start flowing. It gets so good that we have to call. We fly out our guitar player, and we're like, okay, this is getting real. We need the sauce that we've been putting all over all these other songs. We can't just step away from marinara, because this is a marinara project. You know what I mean? And so we brought the marinara from Dallas. He flies out on the red eye that night. He just gets done with the show. He's like, what am I doing? It's like, at midnight, you are flying. Get to DFW now. Tomorrow we record. So he gets out there, and his hair's like everywhere when he gets there. He's like, holy shit, I'm in California, you know. So we start recording. We record Let It Burn and all these other tracks, and man, it's just got this California vibe, and it's the third element to our record, the third prong.
Yeah.
We called this album like a 3-prong attack. You got your rock, you got your gospel, and then you got your surfer Cali psychedelic thing going on. And that's what this album is.
Yeah. That song, Grand Central.
Yeah,
it's a hell of a... Those first 2 lines are fucking killer.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. I have it. That's one of the ones I wrote by myself, and that was the first song I wrote after Sons of Fathers. If I get to heaven, I better roll me some 7s, because right now my ticket's punched for hell.
Yeah.
And because I felt like shit, you know. I mean, I was the one that quit Sons of Fathers.
Yeah.
You know, I backed away from it. And I was down, man. And I was regretting my decision there for a minute. I was like, what in the hell have I done? But, dude, it just made David find himself with his band and his project and his soul. And I found my soul and who I was. And without each other, we would not be where we are today.
Yeah.
And with all the disgruntled bullshit aside, we would both agree on that. If you asked us in separate rooms, if we're in the same rooms, there's some business stuff and lots of stuff that's behind a breakup in a band. But there's purity in the whole uprise of it, too. And that first song, Grand Central, when I wrote it, David and I were actually still living in the same house together in San Marcos. And he was writing. I could hear him on the other side of the room writing on this piano. And then I was like, oh, my God, that son of a bitch is about to be writing some stuff. We all still, like Sons of Fathers created where we were totally in competition.
Yeah.
That's why our songs got just better and better. And the same thing happened, that first one to go away, and he wrote that It Only Tastes Like Diamonds and all those songs there, those 4 months that we had left on the lease. And we were still kosher and talking to each other and stuff. And I showed him some mixes and he showed me some stuff. And we were still in that mode.
Yeah.
But then we just totally, now we don't even speak right now because he's in his mode. And honestly, he doesn't need me in his ear and I don't need him in mine.
Yeah. That song, like how long did it take to even, like to me those first two lines are so perfect that it feels like it would either take.
It took 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the whole song.
That's what I was going to say.
I wrote it on a paper.
Like
I wrote it on a napkin there in San Marcos, right behind Zelix, that bar in San Marcos. It's a shit show of a bar. It's fun as hell, but it was 236 steps away from our front door, and we counted it, believe us. and it was about 280 when you've been drinking all night, so it takes a little longer. But that's where that song came out.
We're recording, yes.
Yeah, we're recording. You want to come say hi to the public? Come on. This is a random woman that's in the blue light in Lubbock, Texas. Say your name.
My name is Patty. How's everybody doing out there tonight?
I'm doing good. Tell us something about you, Patty.
I'm just a wonderful person that I just love people.
All right. Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the blue light. Y'all sticking around tonight?
You bet.
All right. Well, Patty's happy. We're happy.
Yeah, we're at blue light in the pool room. I'm sure you've seen a lot of crazy stories.
Mischief.
What's something like when you first think of blue light? What's like the first memory?
My woman, my lady. I met my love of my life here, and she was in the blue light, and it was 4 years ago, and it's the only time that I've ever stepped on stage and everything goes blurry and it's just me and this one girl and the room was packed. And that's what happened to me. I mean, I've written a lot of songs about falling in love under the blue light, and like the first song about Marfa Lights, the blue light, it matched her dress. With her eyes, she said hello. That was about the first time we saw each other. And then the first time we really made sweet, sweet love under the stars was in Marfa. So, like, a lot of these songs, man, she's kind of my
Muse?
My muse, man. So, found my lady out here, Alexis, love you. And also, when we were first time I ever had a song on the radio, I was in a songwriter competition here a long time ago. Casey Berry won. I got second place. And Neely Yates over there at True Country played me on the radio for the first time. So Lubbock, the Blue Light, Texas Tech, this whole region, Buddy Holly, all of it is just like, my heart, man. I love it out here. I spent a lot of time on a lot of couches, writing a lot of songs, staying up too late. Brandon Adams, William Clark Green from my hometown, those cats, and just a lot of good folks.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe about 6 months ago, I wrote this article about Lubbock anthems, and like, what are the songs that you go into the blue light, and that band is going to be playing that you just expect that one song for them to play, and like everyone knows the words, all that kind of stuff. And for the most part, it's all like my list was all Lubbock bands, except for Flatland by Sons of Fathers, because that song just captures
Dude,
so
it's
much
riding
right
out on 84, coming out here.
Mhm.
If you can't throw that song on, like that's where I wrote it, and that was the first song I ever wrote. Those on the radio, and I wrote that before Sons of Fathers, and then we put it on a Sons of Fathers record.
Yeah.
Just like David wrote The Country, and with Hallie Anna Finley, the daughter of Kent Finley, the late Kent Finley out at Cheatham Street. And, man, Flatland, we will be playing it tonight. I promise you that. I've never skipped that song here
Yeah.
ever since because, I mean, it's still today, it's what they're coming for here in Lubbock. They want to hear that song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You also had like a solo record before all this.
yeah, man. Sound of Water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me and my buddy Mike Mormon, a guy out in East Texas, in Tyler, Texas. We wrote all those songs, and it was my first kind of hoorah at this. And some of it is real, as you can tell, I'm green, you
Yeah.
know. But there's a couple songs that you can actually enjoy, and Sound of Water hit the radio, and that was the song that really got me deep in that songwriting competition.
Yeah.
So,
Did you live out here like any time, or
man, I
was
was
it just more just the
I
whole
was out
couch
here
shit?
living on couches,
Yeah.
for a long time, enjoying myself. Oh God, I'm about to get attacked by freaking guitar players, man. They're just a nuisance.
Yeah.
I like them, but good Lord, they pester you.
So you're out here like just. Were you out here for like an extended period of time, or was it just here and there kind of stuff?
Man, I'd come out here for a month or two.
Mhm.
My buddies were out here going to school, so there was couches to be crashed. And being a songwriter, this ain't a bad place to be. So,
Yeah.
I just spent as much time as I could up at the Blue Light, and I met Red Shahan and the whole crew when they were hosting those songwriter nights.
Yeah.
And just that whole, Charlie Stout and the whole team, and Brandon Adams, and just there was just a scene that all these guys were hunting and addicted to the song. And I like to be around those types of folks, and I'd stay out here longer. I'd wear out my welcome. Love it.
Would you ever like take those first songs from that first record and recut them? Do you ever think about anything like that?
Yeah, dude.
Or
I
you
think
just-
about cutting a lot of Sons of Fathers tunes and recutting them to my style and what I'm doing, because, me and David, when we were recording, we would be pulling each other into a certain sound, and that sound was Sons of Fathers. And, if David wouldn't have been there, I'd have pulled it this far, this way.
Yeah.
And vice versa. He'd have pulled it on the pop side, or I'd have probably pulled it on the country side.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of tunes there. And that first record, man, that song Jim was the first song I ever really wrote. It was about my granddad when he passed away. And the first time I ever wrote was just to get some pain off my chest.
Mm-hmm.
So, the first line's a sweet spirit, iron heart. Can you hear it? It was one of those things that I'm always thinking about my granddad during that. So, yeah, man, I might re-record those, but when I stop writing songs, then I'm gonna have to go back to those and re-record them. But right now, I'm just pumping them out. I'm not stopping.
Yeah. You said, how many songs did you bring for this record? Like 30?
30-something.
30-something, just-
and we whittled through them, and we were like, oh, that'd be good. This is all right. This one's great. This one's great for sure. This one, oh, this one's maybe on this one. This one needs some work. If we did this to this one could go. So
Do you like what happens to your songs that aren't ever finished? Do you like go back and
they're in a database, and when I'm writing, if I feel like, oh, there was, man, this part from that song could maybe work here, and I go and I thumb down on all these voice memos. I send all the voice memos straight to an email that I have,
yeah,
and the email is just strictly for pieces, and sometimes it'll just be me, and you hear the window be like la da 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 da, let's go home. I'm like, oh, let's go home. Like, I mean, it'll just be like,
Yeah.
right, let's go home, on it. Yeah, dude. You never, anything. I was talking to Ray Wiley Hubbard, and I was like, man, what's your approach in songwriting? He's like, anything in any moment, in any time can be a song.
Yeah.
Your ears should always be just on a sonar for that. And that's what I've learned to do, man. And I love hanging out with drunks and people that have had it rough,
Yeah.
and hearing stories. I love to listen to stories.
Yeah.
Because I love to sing stories,
Yeah. Drew Kennedy always kind of says the whole, that not necessarily that he's, he says something to the effect that he believes that as a songwriter, the universe puts certain things in front of him to write about, and it's his job to go, oh, I need
Grab
to write
it.
about this.
Yeah.
Whatever the case that
Exactly.
is.
Exactly. We're always, it's, a song can hit you at any time.
Mm-hmm.
And you've always got to be ready for it, and if, I write down in my notes on my phone all the time, just little lines,
Yeah.
and then those little lines turn into melodies, and then those melodies turn into songs.
Yeah.
It's just, or, a little song or a just a melody. I'm humming something, it could just, that could land into a song as well. So, I've heard couples bitching each other out before, and they're like, whoa, what she said to him sure is a song.
Yeah. Yeah. So like on this new record, what was the most difficult song to finish up? Like what was the
I'll be
that
the
gave you
one. I'll be the one. We cut it about 5 different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, we cut it.
You stuck with the most Elvis of ways.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, we did. And we cut it so many times. And that song, it was like beating a dead cat after a minute. I mean, it was just like, wow, I hate this song now. I've recorded it so many times.
Yeah.
So it's like, every time you're in the studio, it's a different canvas, and it's however you want to paint it, and sometimes you paint it real sloppy, and sometimes you paint it too slow, and sometimes you paint it too fast.
Yeah.
And finally that was the deal with that song, is that we kind of surfed it out. We cut it out in California when we'd been smoking and drinking and enjoying ourselves, and we cut it real lackadaisical,
Yeah.
And then we were like, man, it's not how we bring it live. So we had to go back. I mean, we spent probably 3 to 5 days in the studio on that particular song.
Mm-hmm.
And then, some songs you just cut.
Yeah.
It was just wild.
I mean, it's like I would hate to cut songs, to be honest, just because it feels like you.
It's a mind battle with yourself.
In a lot of ways, it's like I'm assuming it would be like the learning to hate a song that you wrote, because you're just having to, and obviously whenever
learning to hate it and then continuing to sing it.
Yeah.
And fighting through that. It's like scratching a scab.
Mm-hmm.
And after a minute, you're just like opening up an old wound, But then the people that can persevere, it'll heal up to something nice,
Yeah. Did you, was there any like worries that, I don't know, like it took too long between the last Sons of Fathers record and now, like that shit, I need to.
Like 2015 was just nothing for me, It was just running off the old steam, getting as many pickup gigs to get by. And, there for a while, man, I had a lot of doubts the whole time. I was just like, wow, man, let's see if I can pull this off. I was so stressed, and my relationship was suffering from it. I mean, I was just a basket case. I would go get real drunk and just be I felt like Howard Hughes or something, that like locked up in a basement and pulling my hair out and peeing into mason jars and not going to the restroom, and naked, and fingernails growing long, and my just beard growing long, and not taking showers. That's kind of how I felt there for a while.
Yeah. That has to be like the scariest thing that an artist can go through is the
fear of not being able to cut it again, to not be able to get on the level that you once were. That's the biggest fear.
Yeah.
Like, this has got to be better than what I've done. and I'm not going to put anything out unless it is.
Yeah.
Or as good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, like, so much of Sons of Father stuff was. I remember whenever you guys broke up, like it was like a Monday or Tuesday, and like you guys were playing here like on a Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. And my first thought was like, man, like of all the damn times
I know, man.
to do it, but then also like when you guys were playing was
2 Lone Stars. Sorry, we're getting some beer at the bar.
I thought you guys could have changed the way music, like country music, was going to be done. And I sincerely thought like, man, these first 2 records, they're so different from each other, and I don't know.
We're on to something.
I don't know if like anyone. I think like people love the first one a whole lot more than the second one.
Yeah, for sure.
But like I loved that second one because there was so much more of the. Not necessarily like, oh, I don't get it, but like it's one of those like I've got to listen to it and listen to it and listen to it to understand everything about this record.
Man, it was, I'm telling you, talk about doubt. David and I would sit there in that studio and just redo and rework and redo and remassage and love it for a week, hate it the next week, like pulling at our hairstrings, man.
Yeah.
And that doubt is what makes an artist better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that fear of you knowing that you've got to produce. This is your moment. Thanks.
Thank you.
Josh Blue, ladies and gentlemen, best drummer around. Okay. Brings you Lone Star while you're in an interview. It's hard. In an interview.
Yeah, but like,
Cheers. Thomas Mooney, dude, I love how you write.
well, thank you.
You remind me, you're a wordsmith, kind of like a McMurtry, man. You know what I mean?
That's high praise.
And really the way, like, even like I was reading online the other day, those Dalton Domino liner notes that you did, like just so profound. And
Well, thank
we
you.
really appreciate that. And your words are turn into the public's opinion.
Well, hopefully that's like I feel as a, that's going to sound real pretentious and everything,
No.
but like I think that
That's what you're here
anytime
to
you
do.
want to be a journalist, you want to like talk about what's happening, but also at the same time, there's at least a part of you that wants whatever you're saying to be taken as the gospel, if you will, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's very egotistical and pretentious, but like
No,
that's,
you want it to be
I think like
taken.
every kind of writer wants that.
You don't want it to be taken with a grain of salt. You want people to go out of their way to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
And you as a journalist, if you do that, you got nothing but more people tuned in.
Yeah.
Every day.
I wrote those liner notes up here like on a Tuesday. Like I didn't really write it to be Dalton's liner notes. I wrote it for like nobody was up here. I was sitting in the front or on the bar, had my phone out and wrote that down real quick, and then.
Dude, it's like poetry. I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
Well, thank you. Okay, there for a while. That second record, I know you guys mentioned that, it was going to be called Big Diamond Waltz, which that's obviously a song that ended up being on that third.
Yeah,
final
that was
record,
kind of.
but-
We put it on the final record. It was kind of our last waltz,
Mm-hmm.
And man,
Was that just like part of the, I guess, the evolution, the change of the second record of?
dude, that's
liking it and-
exactly how our minds was. We're overthinking the situation. We're doubting ourselves. We wanted it to be this and turned into that. And that's Sons of Fathers, man. Me and David were nutcases. And by the third record, by the last one, we had already broken up. We were like, well, we've got a
Yeah.
catalog of this many 20-something songs that we've recorded.
Yeah.
We're like, we got to do our justice and give it all out there.
Yeah.
And so we did that.
Yeah. I think like Big Diamond Waltz is it's one of my favorite songs that you've written. It just first time I heard it, like it just like really fit like the chorus fit what I was going through in life at the same time. Like I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do,
man.
or like if I was making the right decisions. And
All in all, we're just chasing the very same
Yeah.
things. All we want is a mansion and a big diamond ring for the girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like just following suit to what's already out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what that song portrayed, man. We're just still haven't found my reason for living. Still haven't found my way.
Yeah.
Still haven't followed the signs I've been given, but that doesn't mean I'm lost.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's sons of fathers to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what we were just grabbing at.
Yeah.
Whatever could be thrown our way, we'd play whatever gig. Holy
I think
hell. They're loading us up with beer over here, Thomas. Well, it's about time to go listen.
I think that's like a really great ending point.
Man, I am blessed to have played with the people I've played with, and I am blessed to be a Cauthen. My family who grew up in the church. I just went to our family reunion, the Cauthen family reunion in Franklin, Tennessee, this past weekend, and there was 40-something Cauthens there, and my Uncle Steve gave us a booklet, Heavenly Highway Hymns, printouts of 16 different songs. We're sitting there, and it started raining on this old 1805 cabin that my Aunt Carol owns, that we all, tin roof, we all got in this small little place, and we started singing those songs, and then I realized this is why I do it.
Yeah.
I was given a talent, and I'm lucky enough to be one of those that found what it was, and that's why I can't turn my back to it.
Yeah.
You know, and you, just like you and your words, you know, and us artists, we have to just, it's almost a selfless thing. It's a selfless act we have to do because of the heartache and the ups and downs and all the shit we go through of not getting paid for the things we do and everything else. You know what I mean? The sleeping on the couches, the, cell phone being turned off, the water being turned, that kind of stuff is what makes us who we are. And without that, we wouldn't be, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, hell yeah.
But cheers Thomas. To many more interviews, my friend.
Yeah, of course. Like next time you come through, we'll have to.
Every time we'll follow up, the record will be out. It'll be a different ball game, different stroke of life. But thank you, my friend.
Yeah, well, thank you.